The first thing I'd like to do is show you how to access a file once it's already on the SkyDrive. It could be your file, or it could be something that somebody else is sharing with you. When somebody else shares a file, you'll get a URL. You click the URL or copy and paste it into your browser, and it will bring you to the account. You don't have to have your own account, and you don't even have to have a logon if they've made the folder that it's stored in public. Remember the little globes that we saw on some of our folders? That means anybody has access, and they don't have to have any credentials. In order to get back to some of our files, though, I need to go backwards, and I'll use the breadcrumbs navigation. I don't want to be in sample course files. I want to be in Office New Features, so I'll simply click. Don't forget that the forward and back buttons in your browser work in a similar way. Now I can see some of the files that I already have, as well as my folder. I'll get us started with an Excel file. I'll give it a click. Clicking it actually doesn't open it, it just shows us some information about it. So, at the very top of the screen, we see the name of the file and the extension, so I can tell that this is in the 2007 Office version. That's important because in order to be able to edit the applications, remember they need to be in this format. If it was just XLS, then I could view it, but I couldn't actually edit. Then I see some different options. I can view the actual file, edit it, download it to my own computer or mobile phone or whatever device I happen to be accessing this from. I can also delete it or even move it to different folders. I think what I'll do to get started is to say that I would like to view it. So I click on the link. Well, there you go. You are now looking at it on the web. Now this looks pretty good. I'm not sure if you're looking closely at it, but other than the fact that we have the browser toolbars and things at the top, this looks pretty much like Excel. I'm seeing columns. I'm seeing rows. I see all of my data. My formatting is still there. It's what we call a high-fidelity representation, and this looks pretty good. But remember that I'm only viewing this. This is like a preview of the file only. So again, I have some options. I could always choose to open the file in Excel itself. I could also choose to edit it right in the browser, and that of course is going to use the web app. I can work with data. I have some find options, and if you notice at the very beginning, we actually have a File tab. If I click on File, I can see what options I have. Now it's not as complete as Excel, of course, because we're not in Excel, but I can choose to open it, save a copy, download a copy. Now what do some of these things mean? Well, I think some of them are pretty self-explanatory, like save a copy of it or download a copy of it, but it doesn't have all of the stuff in the background. In other words, anything that was a calculation, like my totals over here in the right-hand column, won't show up as calculations. They'll just show up as the numbers. I'll go ahead and just click off of that. You'll notice that when I click, I'm able to select cells, but I'm actually not in edit mode because when I click on a cell, if I try to type, nothing happens. If I want to edit, then I need to click Edit in Browser. Naturally, I could have chosen to open it in Excel and then have the full Excel application at my disposal. But we're talking about web apps, so now you can see it. This is a simplified version. File tab, Home tab, and Insert tab. Undo and redo as a miniature quick access toolbar at the top. In the ribbon for the Home tab, we see that things are very similar to what we're used to in the full application. Cut, copy and paste, the ability to format things. I can wrap text. I can work with my number formats. I can sort and filter, work with tables, insert, delete, find stuff, and open it in Excel. You're always going to find that open feature because they want you to know that you can always go to the full application if you're not able to do what you want to do in the web app. But what you'll notice now, that if I happen to click on the same cell, I can now edit. And just like in the regular application, anything I do, like pressing Enter or Tab, is going to move me between cells. I can create calculations. You get the idea. Don't forget that at the bottom of the screen we also have our tabs. Because this is Excel, all of the worksheets that we already had are still here, and I can click on different worksheets and move around. We won't go over all of the specific Excel features here because this isn't an Excel class. But I wanted to show you that we've seen at home is pretty familiar. Then we can go to Insert, and we can't insert everything in the web app that we could in the full app, but we can insert both tables and hyperlinks. I think this is pretty good. I happen to be accessing this via a PC, but I could do it using a mobile phone, smartphone, or any internet-enabled device. Having this functionality from anywhere I have an internet connection is actually pretty cool. The other nice thing to remember about the web apps is you don't really save them. They're saved as we work. So if I want to exit out of this, I don't need to go over to the File tab and try to find a Save and Close option. I simply need to move back in my breadcrumbs. Remember up here at the top, we've looked at this before. Well, I'm currently in my Excel budget, and if I want to go back to my New Features folder, all I have to do is click there. It comes back. Anything that I would have changed is instantly updated and instantly available for everybody else. At this point, I'll say, great! I've now experienced the brand new Excel web app.